Mrs. Brown's Boys has been a beloved staple of comedy television for years, delivering outrageous laughs, slapstick chaos, and Brendan O'Carroll's unforgettable wit. But behind the laughter and on-screen antics, the show has faced a quieter drama. Several key actors have left the cast over the years, leaving fans shocked and asking why. From Rory Cowan, who played Rory Brown for over 2 decades, to Gary Hollywood and Damien McKiernan, who portrayed other fan-favorite characters. The exits weren't just about storylines. Each departure tells a story of personal priorities, professional disagreements, and the pressures of working on one of television's most physically and emotionally demanding comedies. Rory Cowan's departure, for example, stunned fans. The actor had been a fixture on stage and screen, but personal reasons, including family health issues, and a growing dissatisfaction with the repetitive touring schedule led him to step away. Meanwhile, Hollywood and McKiernan reportedly quit amid disputes over pay, feeling undervalued compared to other cast members. These behind-the-scenes realities reveal a side of the show that viewers rarely see: the challenges of balancing personal life, fairness, and creative satisfaction in a high-profile production. While Mrs. Brown's Boys continues to entertain audiences worldwide, the reasons behind these departures serve as a reminder that even in the world of comedy, tension and heartbreak can exist just off camera. Now, the question remains, what really drove these beloved actors away? And how did the show adapt to their sudden absence? The answers may surprise fans and shed light on the complexities of making one of television's most iconic comedies. For years, Rory Cowan was a cornerstone of Mrs. Brown's Boys, bringing the lovable, mischievous character of Rory Brown to life both on stage and on screen. Fans had grown to adore his comedic timing, physical humor, and the unique chemistry he shared with Brendan O'Carroll's iconic Agnes Brown. So, when news broke that Rory would be leaving the show in 2017, it sent shockwaves through the fan base. People wondered, why would one of the most beloved actors exit at the height of his popularity? Cowan had been with the production for over 26 years, beginning with stage performances before seamlessly transitioning to television. For much of that time, he seemed unstoppable, a performer who could tackle any prank, slapstick gag, or emotional scene with ease. But behind the scenes, the long tours, repetitive routines, and rigorous schedule had begun to take their toll. In interviews following his departure, Cowan admitted that the last 18 months to 2 years of his time on the show had been increasingly difficult. He spoke candidly about the fatigue of touring, the constant performances, and the emotional strain of balancing work with personal life. One of the most compelling reasons for his exit was deeply personal. Cowan's mother had been diagnosed with dementia, and he found it increasingly difficult to be away from her while traveling with the show. The demands of filming and touring conflicted with his need to care for his family, and he ultimately decided that stepping away from the spotlight was the right choice. It was about family, Cowan explained. I couldn't continue with the same level of commitment while knowing my loved ones needed me. Despite leaving, Cowan emphasized that there were no conflicts or financial disputes with Brendan O'Carroll or the production team. He wanted fans to understand that his exit was his own decision, motivated by personal priorities and the desire for a healthier work-life balance. Still, the impact on the show was significant. Rory Brown was a fan favorite, and the writers had to craft ways to explain his absence in upcoming episodes, including a careful reworking of storylines to maintain the show's humor and charm. Fans expressed a mix of disappointment and understanding. Social media erupted with tributes, nostalgic memories, and heartfelt messages thanking Cowan for his years of dedication. While his departure marked the end of an era, it also highlighted the human side of television production. The fact that actors are real people with personal lives, challenges, and boundaries, no matter how beloved their characters may be. Rory Cowan's exit was more than just a casting change. It was a reminder that behind every joke and slapstick routine is a performer balancing passion, duty, and life itself. His decision to leave the show on his own terms set a precedent, showing that sometimes the bravest choice is stepping away, even when millions of fans are watching and cheering. While Rory Cowan's departure was driven by personal priorities, the exits of Gary Hollywood and Damian McKiernan stemmed from a different kind of tension, one rooted in fairness and recognition within the production. Both actors had become beloved parts of Mrs. Brown's Boys, bringing life and humor to their characters and earning devoted fan followings. Yet, by 2020, reports surfaced that their loyalty and hard work had not been matched with equitable pay. Hollywood and McKiernan had been integral to the show for years, appearing in stage productions, television episodes, and Christmas specials. Their commitment to physical comedy, timing, and the high-energy antics that define Mrs. Brown's Boys made them essential to its success. But behind the cameras, the two actors reportedly discovered they were earning less than other cast members. For performers who had dedicated years of their lives to the show, this realization was both frustrating and disheartening. According to insiders, Hollywood and McKiernan raised the issue with production but felt their concerns were not taken seriously. One source revealed that the pair were hurt when they realized they were being undervalued compared to their colleagues. When negotiations failed to provide a satisfactory solution, both actors made the difficult decision to step away from the show entirely. For them, it wasn't about quitting in anger, but about asserting their worth and maintaining personal and professional integrity. The timing of their exits was significant. With the production gearing up for a Christmas special, the actors were informed that their characters would have limited appearances. This decision only intensified their frustration, as it signaled that their contributions were being minimized rather than valued. The combination of pay disparity and creative sidelining made staying on the show untenable. For the production team, the departures were a logistical challenge. Writers had to adjust scripts, shift character arcs, and ensure continuity for viewers, while maintaining the humor and charm that fans expected. Yet, while these exits were disruptive, the show continued to thrive, demonstrating the resilience of the Mrs. Brown's Boys brand, but not without leaving fans wondering what had happened behind the scenes. Fans' reactions were mixed. Social media exploded with messages of disappointment, support, and curiosity. Many expressed frustration that actors who had been central to the show were leaving due to pay disputes. Others empathized, recognizing that fairness and respect are essential in any workplace, even one that brings laughter to millions. The exits of Gary Hollywood and Damian McKiernan shed light on a reality that is often invisible to audiences, the business side of comedy, where dedication and talent do not always translate into recognition or equitable treatment. Their decision to leave emphasized that professional respect and fair compensation are just as important as creative fulfillment, a lesson that resonates across the entertainment industry. Ultimately, these departures, Cowan's personal choice and Hollywood and McKiernan's stand for fairness, reveal the complex interplay between life off-screen and the comedy we see on screen. Behind every joke, slapstick mishap, and laugh is a cast of humans with their own needs, boundaries, and principles, navigating a world where humor and business must coexist. The departures of Rory Cowan, Gary Hollywood, and Damian McKiernan posed significant challenges for Mrs. Brown's Boys. These actors weren't just supporting cast members, they were fan favorites, each contributing uniquely to the comedy, timing, and chemistry that had made the show a global hit. The production team faced the delicate task of maintaining the show's signature humor while navigating the absence of key performers. For Rory Cowan, his character Rory Brown had been central to many storylines, both on stage and on television. Writers had to creatively rework scripts to explain his absence. In some cases, the character was written out temporarily, with off-screen explanations that maintained continuity without diminishing the humor. The team also relied on other characters to fill gaps, giving more screen time to Agnes Brown and secondary characters. This strategy ensured that the show retained its comedic rhythm while honoring Cowan's departure without awkward plot holes. Similarly, the exits of Gary Hollywood and Damian McKiernan required thoughtful adjustments. Their characters, while not the lead, were integral to the ensemble's dynamic. Writers introduced new scenarios, elevated minor characters, and leaned on improvisation, a hallmark of Mrs. Brown's Boys, to keep episodes lively and engaging. Production also experimented with cameo appearances, occasionally referencing the missing characters to keep their presence alive in the narrative, giving fans a sense of continuity and respect for the departed actors. Behind the scenes, the remaining cast and crew faced the emotional and practical implications of these changes. Ensemble chemistry had to be recalibrated, and actors had to step into new roles or expand their screen time. For Brendan O'Carroll, the challenge was particularly significant. As both lead actor and creator, he had to balance his on-screen performance with the responsibility of maintaining the show's overall structure and ensuring audience expectations were met. Interviews indicate that O'Carroll approached the situation with pragmatism, acknowledging the cast changes while emphasizing the show's resilience. Fans, too, noticed the adjustments. Some expressed disappointment at the absence of familiar faces, while others praised the show for continuing to deliver humor despite the changes. Social media discussions often focused on how the production creatively adapted storylines and relied on improvisation to keep episodes fresh. It became clear that while cast departures are disruptive, they can also be an opportunity for creativity, innovation, and new character dynamics. The departures also highlighted a broader lesson about television production. Even long-running, successful shows must evolve. Actors leave for personal reasons, contractual disputes, or creative differences, and the ability to adapt determines a show's longevity. Mrs. Brown's Boys demonstrated that with careful scripting, improvisational skill, and dedication from the remaining cast, it is possible to maintain the comedic essence that made the show a phenomenon, even in the face of unexpected challenges. In the end, the show's survival and continued popularity speaks to the strength of its writing, the talent of its ensemble, and the flexibility of its production team. While the exits of Cowan, Hollywood, and McKiernan were deeply felt, they did not mark the end of the show's legacy. Instead, they became a testament to the resilience of both the performers and the comedy itself, proving that Mrs. Brown's Boys could endure behind-the-scenes turbulence while continuing to make audiences laugh around the world. The departures of Rory Cowan, Gary Hollywood, and Damian McKiernan left a lasting mark on Mrs. Brown's Boys, shaping both the show's evolution and the broader lessons about cast dynamics in long-running productions. While initially disruptive, these exits forced the production team, writers, and remaining actors to reassess how the show could adapt without losing its signature humor and warmth. One immediate impact was on the storytelling itself. With Cowan's Rory Brown gone, writers had to pivot creatively, focusing on existing characters while slowly introducing new faces and subplots. Secondary characters were given expanded roles, allowing the audience to connect with other members of Agnes Brown's world. The shift challenged the writers to inject fresh ideas, improve comedic timing, and maintain engagement despite the absence of familiar personalities. Surprisingly, these changes also revitalized the series in certain ways, proving that a show could remain dynamic even after losing key actors. The cast, meanwhile, learned to adapt on a practical and emotional level. Ensemble chemistry had to be recalibrated, particularly during improvisational scenes where timing and interaction are crucial. Remaining actors often stepped into larger roles, balancing screen presence with sensitivity to the audience's attachment to departed characters. Brendan O'Carroll as both lead actor and creative force, emphasized support for his cast while managing the challenge of keeping the series consistent and entertaining. This approach demonstrated that leadership behind the scenes can make or break a show during periods of transition. From a production perspective, si fatao di fur si scenes. The exits highlighted the importance of fairness, communication, and respect for talent. Hollywood and McKiernan's departure over pay inequities underscored that even in comedy, where characters and scripts dominate attention, the real human factors, compensation, recognition, and personal satisfaction, are crucial for retention. Their decision sent a clear message to the industry: value your team, or risk losing key contributors. For fans, the departures were bittersweet. While some missed their favorite characters, others appreciated the show's ability to adapt and remain funny. The changes also offered insight into the human side of television production, reminding audiences that behind the slapstick humor and absurd situations are real people navigating careers, priorities, and creative satisfaction. The long-term impact is also evident in how the show approached future casting and storylines. Producers became more mindful of contract negotiations, touring demands, and actor well-being. New characters were introduced gradually, ensuring continuity while refreshing the series' energy. In some ways, these departures became a catalyst for sustainable growth, teaching the production team to balance tradition with innovation. Ultimately, the exits of Cowan, Hollywood, and McKiernan serve as a case study in resilience and adaptation. Mrs. Brown's Boys survived the departures not simply because of its humor, but because the creators, cast and crew, embraced change, respected their colleagues, and found creative ways to keep the show engaging. While fans may never forget the actors who left, the series continues to thrive, illustrating that even in comedy, professionalism, empathy, and flexibility behind the scenes are just as vital as laughter on the screen.